Whether you plan on breast or bottle feeding your baby, every mother gets to experience lactation or milk production, and having a good set of nursing pads can make or break the experience. Hi, I'm Crystal Van Buren, private flute teacher and mother of 5. In my experience, I always reverted back to the disposables because those were the only nursing pads that could hold my letdowns. And I set out on a mission to find a reusable nursing pad that could actually hold the quantity that I needed to keep me dry, especially through those nights. In this video, we will be reviewing 9 different brands of reusable nursing pads, meaning you can wash them and use them day after day. Because if you've done disposables before, you know how expensive they can be. You have to change them morning and night, and that adds up. You go through them very quickly. I began my research by looking up all the different blogs on the best reusable nursing pads on the market. And then I took the winner, or the top competitors from each of these blogs, bought them, and sampled them myself. I tested them in my kitchen for absorbency, and then I wore them throughout my engorgement phase with my brand new newborn baby. And I found a clear winner, but I'll let you decide which one you think is right for you. So the brands we're going to be reviewing today are Australian-made Mimi & Co., Kindred Bravely Fearless Leak Proof, Kindred Bravely Bamboo, Curve by Cashcore, Bamboobies Nighttime, Lanicare Wool Teardrop, a random brand I picked up at Walmart, Cotton, Lansana Teardrop, they come in both black and pink, and Kea Babies Bamboo. Let's begin with the Lanicare Teardrop Shape Wool. I was intrigued by the concept of using wool as a nursing pad because it's a natural fiber that is antimicrobial and anti-odor, and so you can wear it over and over and over again without it getting smelly, and you only need 2 pairs because that way you can have one pair that's washing and drying and then the other pair in use, and you just switch back and forth between the 2. The thing that was intriguing to me about wool is used as a diaper cover. It repels water back into the absorbent layer of the diaper, and so I was curious as to how it would actually work as a nursing pad catching that flow. The wool is recommended especially if you have vasospasms. The claim is also that it'll help prevent mastitis because it keeps you temperature regulated and nice and warm and cozy. In my experience using these, they did not absorb my letdown, and nor did they absorb any water when doing the test in the kitchen. The way I conducted this experiment was I took a baby Tylenol syringe and shot the water onto the nursing pads, and each pad was clipped up. That's how we wear them, right? They're not flat. And then shot the water at the nursing pad to see how much it would absorb, and then I measured absorbency based on how much it held before it dripped off the bottom. The wool did not hold anything. It repelled the water and it dripped right off. So probably not your best option for a heavy letdown. I would recommend using a cotton pad in between you and the wool. It was very nice and comfortable, and I love that it molded to my shape. It was easy to fit into my bra. It stayed in place very well. Doesn't smell, very easy to clean. You have to hand wash it with some wool wash, and then you just set it out to dry. They do shrink, so I got the biggest size I could, and it did shrink to a reasonable size. It looks huge initially, but when you tuck it around your engorged breast, it fits very nicely, and it's discreet underneath your bra because it completely covers you. I don't get vasospasms, so I can't attest to its effectiveness with those. What it didn't do was prevent mastitis. I did get mastitis this last engorgement phase. So on the whole, wool is not my favorite for a nursing pad, but I do love it for other uses, such as diaper covers. It's miraculous. Next up, let's talk about Kindred Bravely. Kindred Bravely is a company that specializes in maternity and nursing wear. They have 2 types of nursing pads. They have their bamboo and they have their Fearless Leak Proof. Now, the bamboo ones are, they're bamboo on the inside, and then all of these pads that I'll be talking to you about have a thermal polyurethane laminate. That's the waterproof layer that keeps you dry, that keeps the moisture from seeping through the pad. These ones have a little seam down the middle. I can't remember what the terminology is for that exactly, but they lie flat. So that little seam does not allow it to create that comfy cone around your breast. It just kind of lies flat there. The bamboo nursing pads were fairly absorbent. These ones held about 13.75 milliliters of water, and that's a fair amount. What I didn't like about the bamboo, these ones, is I just felt wet. And that's a common thread with all of the bamboo nursing pads. I felt kind of damp, but it was nice because it didn't stick to my nipple at all. So very soft, very comfy, but I didn't enjoy that wet feeling. If you're all right with the synthetic fiber, the Fearless Leak Proof was one of my favorites. It has a waxy coating on the outside that, fresh out of the box, had a chemical smell to it. That smell has gone away. The yellowing you see around the edges is not from wash. They came yellowed like that. These do come in both this tan color and a black color. They're made mostly out of polyester, again with that polyurethane laminate separating the absorbent layer from you, keeping you nice and dry. They're cut and fit very nicely around my breast, I found. These were extremely absorbent, some of my favorites. These held 28.75 milliliters, which is over twice the quantity of its bamboo counterpart. Now the downside to this is it is a synthetic material, and for some people that's a deal breaker right there. But for me, I don't mind. It felt dry while wearing it. I could wear it all day and all night. I had to remember to change it just for hygiene purposes. I didn't find that it had a bacterial smell or anything to it. It does get a little crinkly in the wash, as you can see, those crinkles. That can be prevented by putting it in a lingerie bag before washing, and that'll help preserve the shape a little bit better. These do take a long time to dry, and so you might need more pairs. They can be dried in the dryer. Another thing about these is because the entire pad has that waxy coating on the outside, it's difficult to get into your bra. But once it's in there, it doesn't move. It stays in place very well. Next up, let's talk about the Curve by Cashcore. These, I feel, were the winner. They held 29 milliliter, or the nighttime one. You can see the difference between the night and the day. It's just a little bit bigger. The nighttime held 29 milliliters. And it was rather funny because it went to drip off and then it would just suck back in. So these things hold a lot. They're made mostly out of polyester. They've been treated with odor antimicrobial fabric on the inside. I'm not sure what they did, whether it's silver infused. Their website doesn't say how they achieved that, but it does work. This is a dirty pad. No stench, no odor. It smells exactly like the clean pad. And you can kind of see the difference between dirty and clean. And there's not much to see. So these were my absolute favorite. I can wear them day and night. They keep me dry. I love the triangle shape. It just fits nicely in my bra. They are very expensive, but I find that the investment is worth it. And you don't need very many of them because you can wear them for so long between changes because they don't smell, that they just keep going and going, and they hold and hold and hold purposes. You'll never want to change it because you feel wet or because you're afraid it's going to leak. It does have a little silicone grippy logo on the outside, and you can see that says Curve. That helps it to stay in place in your bra, and I liked that. That was a nice compromise compared to the Kindred Bravely Fearless Leak Proof, where it was all kind of silicone and waxy. It's easy to get into my bra, and then that little silicone logo just keeps it in place. Next, let's talk about Lansana. When I first got these, I thought there's no way these are going to hold anything. Why are these the top of everybody's lists? And I was pleasantly surprised. Even though it is paper thin, it held an impressive amount for how thin it is. These held 12 milliliters, and they're made with the athletic wicking jersey on the inside, and so it feels dry, which I really enjoy. I love to feel dry. I don't wear these at night because it just doesn't hold enough to contain my letdowns in the middle of the night. But for daytime use, they're nice because they hold a good amount. They're thin and they're discreet. Why they're teardrop shaped, I'm not exactly sure. I've never figured out what the advantage is to that, but perhaps you do, and feel free to share in the comments why you think teardrop is superior to round. Okay, let's talk about this little find from Walmart. This was the very first reusable nursing pad I ever purchased. I just picked it up at Walmart with my first baby because I couldn't afford to keep buying the disposable nursing pads, which by the way, my favorite disposable is Medela. Lots of people prefer Lancet because it's a little bit thinner, but that's the reason why I like Medela. I feel like Medela is the gold standard of disposable nursing pads. It fits nicely in my bra. It kind of folds in half. It's a nice shape, and it holds what I need it to. The Medela disposable itself held 61 milliliters, and I went to try wringing it out because I wring all of these out to see how much they would wring out, and it just exploded. It popped. So they hold a lot. So if you are a disposable fan and you just know you want to do disposables, do Medela. It's worth it. So back to this cheap thing from Walmart. It's cotton. It does not have a thermal polyurethane laminate, and so the milk just seeps right through. I don't recommend these. Anytime you see anything like this, just steer away from it. Unless, of course, you're going with the wool option. If you like wool, then you want something like this that will catch, immediately absorb your letdown, and then the wool will keep repelling it back into the cotton, and it'll be a nice combo there. If you don't like synthetics, then Kea Babies is your go-to. Yes, it has the polyurethane laminate on the back, but unless you're going with wool, there's no substitute for a waterproof backing. So waterproofing, you can either use wool or you can use the TPU. Kea Babies was the winner of all of the bamboo options. It's fluffy, it's thick, it's so soft and comfy. It's got that little seam down the middle that actually helps it sit in a cone shape, so it's shaped to your breast. It's discreet inside your bra. As far as staying in place, it's a little silky on the outside, but it's big enough that I found that it stayed in place just fine. I never had any issues with it falling out. It held my letdowns in the middle of night and the engorgement phase. You do need to change them morning and night. Again, bamboo just feels wet, and it doesn't hold enough to get you through 24 hours. So you'll need to change these twice a day. But as far as getting you through feedings at night, it will hold, and it will hold 12 hours worth. With the water test, Kea Babies held 22.5, and just like the curve, the water went to drip off and then it just slurped back into the pad. So it's got you covered. Mimi & Co. I was very excited about because it has the athletic wicking jersey on the inside, and it's got cotton on the outside, theoretically to keep it in your bra very nicely. It also has a cute glow-in-the-dark tag. So I thought, this is a good company. I've liked their diapers. Let's try their nursing pads. And I was disappointed. The first thing I was disappointed about was just how small these are. They barely cover my nipple. Maybe I'm just abnormally large, but the truth is I have heavy letdowns, and something this small just doesn't fit. It never stayed put in my bra. It always fell out. I was always searching under the bed for my lost nursing pad. The biggest letdown about these is, genius as it was to put the cotton on the outside with the waterproof layer in between, as soon as the milk reached the border of the pad, it would wick over into the cotton layer. So the pad never had a chance to fully soak or fill up with milk before I was wet, because it wicked over into the outside and then soaked my bra. So for me, this was not a great option. It is comfy and I like using it just during the day, especially once my milk supply is regulated. But for engorgement and for nighttime use, this was a no-go. And let's be real, nursing pads never see the daylight, so the glow-in-the-dark tag, as cute of an idea as it was, and they do glow, it never got charged because it was sitting in my drawer until it was used, and then it would go straight into my bra. So it never saw the light of day to be able to get a charge. And so the whole glow-in-the-dark, never lose your nursing pad in the middle of the night, doesn't work. Held 10 milliliters before it wicked to the backside, and then for the drip off it held 16.25, but again it was soaked front and back. Bamboobies is a very popular brand. I decided to try their nighttime version because it's larger than their heart-shaped day version. It's very soft. Of all the bamboo options, this is the most luxuriously soft pad that you can purchase. It was pretty good. Again, compared to all the others, it doesn't have that seam to make it cone shaped, so it doesn't fit in your bra as nicely as the Kea Babies or even the Kindred Bravely, but it's fairly inexpensive. It's just very soft. It's not as absorbent as the other bamboo options, and so unless you're loyal to Bamboobies, I don't know why you would purchase this when you have Kea Babies or Kindred Bravely for an option. Again, bamboo, it just feels wet to the touch. It did absorb a decent amount, 10 milliliters. Oh, I also had some problems with it wicking to the back, interestingly enough. Just like Mimi and Co, it wicked to the back, and then the drip off was at 12 ounces. So it doesn't hold nearly as much as Kea Babies. So if you want a bamboo option, do Kea Babies. So those are all the different nursing pad options that I tried, and these were the top of the blog, so the best of the best. My favorite and my overall recommendation is absolutely Curve by Cashcore. Again, these are expensive, but it's worth it because you're going to be using these for 12 months, maybe more, maybe less, somewhere around there. And you can use them day and night. You can go as long as you want without changing them. They wash up very nice. This one has only been washed once, and you can see just how stiff it is, but after being washed several times, like this nighttime one, they start to soften up and they're not as stiff, and so you're able to kind of fold it down while you're breastfeeding, whereas the stiffer option, you have to remove it and then put it back in. So that is my absolute favorite. Highly recommend. The close second for me is the Fearless Leak Proof by Kindred Bravely. You'll notice these are both synthetic options. So again, if you're a person who wants to avoid synthetic fabrics, go with Kea Babies Bamboo. You still have that polyester backing with the thermal polyurethane laminate. So a little bit of synthetic, but the inside is your bamboo. If you just absolutely don't want to do synthetics, you want to do natural materials, get a cheap round of cotton from Walmart and then invest in Lanacare's wool. They have lots of different sizes. They have teeny tiny little sizes, and then this is their biggest size that they have. Extremely expensive wool is, but if that's the route you want to go, I think you'll like it. Just be sure to use a cotton something between you and the wool. Let's talk about how to wash your reusable nursing pads. These are the most simple reusable item that you can wash. They don't need any special treatment. They don't need to be pre-washed. They don't need to be rinsed. They don't need to be stain treated. They don't need to be sunned. Literally, I take it off. I throw it in my whites hamper. All of these have different wash instructions. You can see the chart below as to the recommendation is how to wash. If it has a thermal polyurethane laminate, you'll want to be careful of high heat. So air dry or tumble dry on low. Machine washable, absolutely, but probably a warm setting would be preferable. And that way it'll preserve your waterproof laminate. Wool, again, is a special other case. You need to hand wash it in lukewarm water with a wool wash and then lay it flat to dry. If you have a washing machine that likes to eat socks and quarters, you want to wash your nursing pads in a little lingerie bag, such as this one. This is a Kea Babies. This again came with my box of Kea Baby nursing pads, so great deal, great bang for the buck. Awesome product with a nice little bonus bag. The biggest thing you want to be careful with washing your reusable nursing pads is what kind of detergent you use. So I prefer Assembly just because I do diapers and that's what I'm using for my reusable diapers, but Tide Free and Gentle or Free and Clear is also a great option. Don't use Kirkland Signature. It's got sodium cocaine. It's got a coconut-derived product in it that could coat your fibers and make them less absorbent. So that's the biggest thing to watch out for. It needs to be clean rinsing, no fragrances, no fabric softeners. So Assembly is a great option. Tide is an awesome option. And then you can also use the Norwex Ultra Power Plus, although that will get extremely expensive if you're washing them frequently. So kind of your preference. But if you're interested in the Assembly detergent, I do have an affiliate 20% off coupon that you can use. It's CBD Baby. You just plug that into the discount box when you go to checkout, and then you can stock up on some of Assembly's detergent, and it's very affordable once you plug in that 20% off coupon. Products to use for nipple care when you're using reusable nursing pads, you have to be very careful with. So the traditional product is lanolin. I love Lancinaw's lanolin. It saved me 4 out of 5 babies with the engorgement phase, the nipple soreness, getting used to breastfeeding. This is a hero. Unfortunately, you can't use this with your reusable products because it will coat the fibers and make them non-absorbent. This is where having a wool nursing pad is really handy because you can use lanolin with the wool. They're like peanut butter and jelly. They're made by sheep. They go together. They're meant to be together. So if you just can't part with your lanolin for those first days nursing, Either use your disposable nursing pads, again, Medela is my favorite, or use the wool. The alternative to lanolin, I found Assembly's Everyday Balm. I had this on hand because I was using it just as a skin cream for my cloth diapered baby, but I started using it as a nipple cream and I found it was even more effective than the lanolin. It's easy to apply, it's all natural so your baby can eat it and it won't hurt them. You don't have to wipe it off before breastfeeding your baby. Its ingredients are organic coconut oil, beeswax, shea nut butter, olive oil, sunflower oil, and vitamin E, all organic products. I thought it was expensive up front, and then I actually got the container and realized how huge it is. I'm not gonna make it through this, not with putting it on my baby's bones, not using it as a nipple cream. So just this one bottle will get me through. And again, I have a 20% coupon that you can use. It's $15 full price, so take 20% off of that and you can add that to your detergent. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Nursing pads was the last reusable item that I dove into, simply because I couldn't find one that would hold my letdown. So hopefully this will help you so that you don't have to buy all these different brands to try them out, just to find one that works for you.